作戦を確認する。しばらくの間なら帝都の守りは。
そこんとこはお任せください。陣地こ最後はいらんであろう。繁栄の女神ですから知って。ま、それはともかく持たせられるのはさほど長い時間ではございません。
その間に千年峡にいるカルナを叩き包囲網を瓦解させるだな。シンプルなのはいいことだ。特に戦術面においてはな。
Okay, try that. Umu! Let me know if you were able to hear any commentary up until now, or if the microphone was just not working. Okay, so I think I'm going to switch things up a little bit for this part, and we're going to bring in Tamamo, because the next stage that we're going into is actually Tamamo's domain, so... Okay, so I apparently could not be heard, so I've apparently have fixed that now. So what I was saying is that I've kind of figured out the way that the campaign structure works. Also, we can't quite play as Archer yet, but that's fine. We'll have him eventually. I figured out how the campaign structure works, at least from the standpoint that you have this one linear timeline, but you have these branching paths you can pick from. So even though there may only be like 7 chapters, there's going to be many iterations of the same chapter that you can pick depending on your choices. So there may be like 3 alternate stages that make up chapter 3, which I think is really cool. And apparently you can go back and do the ones that you didn't pick, which means that you can go back and do them for levels. And I don't know if this route that timeline that we saw is just the first route, or if that's going to be the entire game. Either way, I'm really excited to find out. So here's our passive skills, just like in the previous game. I can't read what any of these do, unfortunately. I have a feeling I know what that is, but we will at least try to link these together and hope that we get something good out of them. Just like in the previous game, you can link together the passive skills and get a boost, like so. And I think I have one more slot available. Maybe we'll put something... You want blue. And then, surprisingly enough, some of the alternate outfits are already available. I think as we saw earlier, Tamamo has hers available. Yay! Not sure what that is. I kind of want to get my Codecast actually equipped too. There's supposedly a good one we can get right now. Not quite. There's... Maybe I'll go with that for now. There's one that... Let's equip that. There's one that has 3 different options. There's one with the up arrow we can use as well. That gives us a speed increase or offensive increase. Okay, we have the one we want to be equipped. To get Tamamo's dialogue out of the way, which is probably going to increase our bond. Just like in the previous game, we have the secondary objectives that we... Tokoshie, I don't know who that is supposed to be. We have the secondary objectives we have to complete within each stage in order to increase our bond levels with our servants, which is nice. I'm glad that they included that. So let's go ahead and bring Tamamo into battle, and again, from my test playing earlier on the actual Vita itself, Tamamo actually behaves a lot better in this game than she does in the first game, which is pretty surprising considering a lot of people dropped the first game during Tamamo's route because they didn't like the way that she played. But this time around, she's actually pretty fast and frenetic, and her moves actually work really well. And she has this... She's got this intense leg game going on where she just kicks everything, and it's amazing. So I'm pretty happy about that. This makes me angry because they're literally using, for the Shadow Servants thing, Archer's sprite from the first Extella, where he doesn't have the mullet. You're going to hear him say, like, Shadow Servants in English, too, here in a second. I guess I just feel like Nero's sprite is the most expressive because she has such large eyes. Archer is kind of squinting, so you don't really get to see it too much, and then Charlemagne's face just looks kind of awkward, so... Yeah, so, Matthew, to answer your question, with the home base that you have there is actually like a dorm. There's like a dormitory you can go into where each of the servants have their own room, and you can go in there and talk to them and get special conversations. I'm not sure what benefits you can get from that, or if you increase their bond levels by going in there and having those conversations with them. I know that whatever servant you have that's currently in your party, that's the one that you get the My Room conversations with, which you can go and visit all of them in their dorms, which I think is pretty cool. I think Gawain might be a little bit jealous there, because there's another Saber class with fluffy hair. This stage is just incredible, the way that it's laid out. We have Tamamo's resort there. Alright, well, let's get into it. So, this stage, as you can see, is a lot more dynamic than the previous one. I hate that transitioning between sectors is a little more sluggish now, though, too. So, this stage is, like, really far and spread out, and there's no, like, linear path that we have to follow, so the complete opposite of the previous one we were just in. I still haven't quite gotten used to the camera yet, though. You guys remember that tornado attack from the previous game being pretty strong. And apparently, all of the aggressors seem to spawn in simultaneously from what I've seen, instead of spawning them in one at a time. Which, again, I don't know how I feel about that, because some of them can be kind of difficult to defeat, but at the same time, there was an element of strategy that went into having to deal with their each of them spawning in one at a time and having some of their gauges inaccessible. Now, I've got to be really careful with the bigger aggressors with the axe there. These guys with the swords are not too bad, but the guy with the axe, he will pretty much resist. Like, if he's committed to his animation to attack you, there seems to be nothing that can be done to interrupt that, so I've really got to be persistent about avoiding that. And, like I said, I complained a little bit about the lack of combos in this game, and how they've changed it from being combo-oriented to being more like just being able to cast the ability you want on the fly. So it kind of detracts a little bit from the gameplay sandbox of the previous game a little bit. But with Tamamo, and probably with the other caster classes, that works out pretty well, because now I can just cast the Tornado or the Flamethrower whenever I feel like it, and it really does work out. You'll also notice that some of these sectors in this stage are locked, which was something that we saw quite a bit in the previous stage as well. So now that we've cleared this sector, this area down here where we transition and it's currently locked, that should open up for us. However, there's a particular sector I need to get to in order to disable the superpowered aura around the Archer Shadow Servants. So you're going to see that come up pretty soon. Archer, God, I really do like this outfit on him. It does look cool. It's just the mullet that gets me. So I'm going to avoid this encounter with these Archer Shadow Servants at first, because they are superpowered. So it's just like the pitfall you would run into with Lu Bu in the first game. So if we go down here and take over this sector, we can get past that. So I just passed one of the archer shadow servants just there, and you could see how it had the red aura around it. We don't want to mess with that, as we learned in the previous game. So let's go ahead and take this sector, and we should be better off. The other thing as well that I don't really care for is how Tamamo doesn't carry nearly as much momentum when we use her her sort of somersault in the air, because that was always really amusing in the first game when you would just dash and then do a jump and you would just somersault through the air. She doesn't carry as much momentum this time around, so they probably did that again on purpose to prevent players from abusing some of the movement tech. From a gameplay standpoint, again, I don't like that they've introduced these Shadow Servant things because I just feel like it's lazy. You know, just design another enemy type, don't just recycle assets like this. But I'm sure it has some kind of storyline significance because we did see the whole Shadow Servants thing quite a bit in Extra Last Encore, which has aired in between me making the Let's Play for the previous Extella game and now. The other special attack we have for Tamamo there is ice shards that she shoots out, which are pretty powerful. Yeah, there's definitely a bit of a delay to some of her attacks, but they definitely feel powerful. And overall, I just think she's more fun to play as in this game than she was in the previous game, which is that's a pretty strong praise coming from me, because so far there's not a whole lot of things that this game has done better than its predecessor. Just whack them with your tail, Tamamo. Always works. It's like, well, if you had to get beaten up by somebody, you'd probably want to get beat up by somebody with a fluffy tail, right? Great call out. So the mini-map is a lot easier to read. It's more visually intuitive in this version. The only thing is that there doesn't appear to really be a regime matrix anymore. So we don't have that bar at the top. It's more sort of just a complete a series of objectives and control a dominant portion of the map, from what it seems like. So I'm not really sure like what the fail condition is with some of these maps yet. The regime matrix was pretty easy to figure out. Oh boy, it's Karna again, and Tamamo has, from what I can tell with her reaction to seeing some of these servants here, she's pretty upset by the fact that they are not on her side anymore, because this used to be her team in Extella, so... Come on, there we go. Trying to lock onto him, but for some reason it doesn't seem to be working. The tornado is pretty effective at dealing with the small, or large groups of small enemies. I also learned with this mechanic right here, the replacement for the Extella maneuver. I think that's like a link attack or something like that they call it, because you can link with the other servants on your team when they show up to join in with you, which is pretty cool. So it looks like we just captured a different sector. It also seems like they've changed the health a little bit on the servants, so the non-boss servants are not nearly as strong as they were, and then the boss servants are stronger than they were in the previous game. I just wish this camera would settle down a little bit. It's just way too... it's not twitchy, it's just when you hit it, it just goes further than you need it to. Whoops. Yeah, that was pretty bad. There was no way to really block him mid-combo there. I was trying to block and get away from... and dodge away. So, the game is not pathetically easy so far. We actually have taken quite a bit of damage. We may actually die here. Great. If anything, I can kind of consider that to be a flaw because and it was something we had to deal with a little bit in the previous game too, but it's like once you start getting hit, you just get comboed infinitely and they can just savage you. Like there's nothing you can do about it. See, I'm trying to block and nothing is happening. Alright, hell with it. I don't care. Definitely do not need to be wasting command seals on servants that are not the boss servant. Or wasting time on them, for that matter, because the more time we waste, the more of those Archer Shadow servants start appearing in other sectors. Oh joy! It's everybody's favorite caster! I actually really do wonder how him and Tamamo would get along, or actually who would win in a straight fight between them, because he's not actually that great of a caster when you think about it. Wow, my throat got really messed up there. So for those of you who don't know who I'm talking about, we now have the appearance of a lovely Gilles de Rai, who was caster in Fate Zero. I'm sure many of you already know that. But now we're having traumatic Castlevania 64 flashbacks because Gilles de Rai was in that game apparently as well. Do I want to go this way? Yeah, that's faster. You can directly see the lines that connect each sector together and the path at which enemies are using to transition between sectors, and roughly how long it's going to take them to transition too, which is cool. I just hate when I jump at the entrance to the sector like that. It just hesitates, so I end up having to... Oh god, the graphics. He's definitely missing a layer of textures there on the Vita version. This stage, I feel like, looks a bit more rough than the previous stage did, but we can forgive that because it is the Vita version. I know a lot of people who are... I guess it's fair to call them detractors of the Vita, did not appreciate this game was even getting a Vita release, that it would have been better to just... I mean, they already went through the effort to optimize it for the PS4, so just make a PS4 and Switch version, don't even bother with the Vita. And you know what? If they did, I probably wouldn't even be upset, because I have access to the PS4, and then Michelle has the Switch. I do like the Vita, but I think I would rather... Like, I would rather have the game look better than to have the Vita version. The Vita version of the first game was fine, only because it was such a small game that didn't require a lot of technical, it didn't have a lot of hardware restraints. In fact, it was only... Oh god, I just got attacked by Bagel. It was only like an 8 GB file for the previous game. It was a tiny, tiny game. So, friends of ours in the Type Moon cosplay group, one of them decided it would be a good idea to make... She cosplays Ryonosuke. She decided it would be a good idea to make a plushie of one of the, like, awful Cthulhu-like monstrosity things that Gilles de Rai creates in Fate Zero. And they named it Bagel for some reason, so... whenever I see one of those things now, I'm instantly going to think, oh look, it's Bagel! So this is when Tamamo decides she wants to get completely ridiculous. As you can see, she's gotten, like, ridiculously fast, and I feel like this is going to be something that people are going to be abused, because it seems like she just gets faster and faster the more these combos continue. And I know it has to do with, we've actually gotten a speed boost upgrade, just through our combos escalating. Yeah, that's what I was talking about with the guys with the axes. Like, no matter what you're doing to them, if they commit to that animation, they're going to swing that axe, and you are going to get hit. So you better attack them from the side or from the back, or you better block and wait for them to swing, because you're going to get hit. Thankfully, though, this game doesn't have the annoying guard break mechanic like Berserk in the Band of the Hawk does. But that being said, you definitely can't block forever. I thought we would get the clash thing going on there because we stunned him. Oh, there we go. He's already dead anyway, so who cares? So, I may want to actually leave this sector and come back, because the sector at the very beginning there is definitely undergoing some hardship. So, let's come back. I may want to go ahead and just drop my Noble Phantasm on that sector. Because there's quite a few Archer Shadow Clones up there, and they're bothering whatever servants are on my team. I guess it's Nero and Charlemagne that are up here. So there's also the Master, which somebody made a comment. I think Michelle made a comment about how the Master is walking around by themselves and they're not inside of you anymore. So you got to think about it. The Regalia doesn't exist anymore in this game. So the Regalia was, a huge plot point in the previous game. It was the weapon that was designed to protect the moon from catastrophic events such as the Umbral Star. And so far we've had no discussion about the Umbral Star or any of that in this game. But looks like we got this sector back, which is nice. So she doesn't have to absorb herself into the ring anymore because the ring doesn't exist. That was the whole point of the previous Extella, was to get rid of the, get rid of that ring, and that was Archimedes' whole plot and everything. Yeah, Tamamo does do a Spirit Bomb. I always said that Excalibur was the Spirit Bomb because the dialogue in Fate Zero when Saber uses it is like she's... it's the hopes and dreams of every warrior that is all culminating into one blow. She's about to unleash the miracle that she holds in her hands, which is still my favorite moment in any anime ever. But yeah, she totally did the Spirit Bomb, the way all the particles collide and everything. I bet it's only a matter of time before those flying attack programs become a nuisance again like they did in the previous game, because man, those things were annoying. They were so annoying that when you first entered a sector, you probably were going to drop your Extella maneuver just to get that AoE attack, because you just wanted to get rid of them so bad. Let's see, we've got one guy with the axe. There we go. Okay, that's why the lock-on wasn't working for me. But I have to remember that the game is giving me controls based on the Vita version, so if it's a touchscreen prompt, it's got to be allocated to another button. But thankfully we have two shoulder buttons, or two sets of shoulder buttons on the DualShock 4, unlike on the Vita. Yeah, Tamamo still has the air juggle move, just like in the previous game, where she does the whole cat scratch thing and then launches them into the air. So, Lu Bu should be spawning any moment now. He's going to be the boss servant here. I dealt with Gilles de Rai already. Let me see, I may have to go into the center there and deal with that Shadow Clone Archer. All I can think about whenever I see you guys is how much of a wasted opportunity not having Tamamo and Nameless in Extra Last Encore was. I still like Extra Last Encore. For anyone that hasn't seen Extra Last Encore yet, just keep this in mind. They're only really dedicating 1 or 2 episodes at a time to each servant, which is kind of annoying. But it's animated by Shaft, and nursery rhyme is a thing. So just think about that. You are in for the most Shaft thing you've ever seen in your entire life outside of Madoka. Okay, Lu Bu is spawning in. And he's already in this sector, which worked out perfectly. I think he is, at least. Tamamo is very upset that she no longer has him on her side. But what's funny about this is that Lu Bu wanted nothing to do with her the entire time in the first game, which made for a hilarious side story. I didn't really talk about his side story a whole lot in the Let's Play of the first game because I didn't really do it on screen. But I've done every single side story in the previous game. I just couldn't fit all of them into the Let's Play for runtime reasons. But Lu Bu's side story is hilarious because Tamamo the whole time is like, "Oh, Lu Bu, go do my evil bidding for me. Go kill that other servant." And Lu Bu is just like, "Roar!" But what he's really saying is, "I will kill you the first chance I get." And he's literally about to. Like, everything he's doing is just playing the defensive game until he eventually undermines her. And then at the very last chance that he gets, his creator, I guess, because like Lu Bu is a mech apparently in this continuity. His creator's like, "No, Lu Bu, you must show patience," and all this other stuff. And he's just standing there frustrated, like, "I can't believe you would do this to me." So it's legitimately funny. Like, if you guys have not finished all the side stories in Extella, they're all worth it. I mean, they barely take any time out of your day because they're only 3 stages long. And Artorias is even quicker because it's just a boss rush. Is Lu Bu not in this sector? Oh, there he is. Lude Boob. Alright, we're gonna need your help, Archer. Oh, I thought we almost didn't get that attack off there because he was trying to hit us. For some reason this is easier on the Vita because you can just kind of rock the whole system back and forth in your thumb. I don't know, I'm kind of sensitive about the Vita though, like I don't want to abuse the buttons on it because with a handheld, if you have issue with a button, you run the risk of having to take the whole system apart, which is no bueno. Whether or not, if it happens with a console, it's much easier just to replace a controller. Let's use one of her drive skills is what they're called. I was trying to remember what that was. Yeah, her drive skills. That you can use those when you have your... Like, you can use the remainder of your gauge to use one of those. And they're pretty strong, so it's moves that aren't part of her core moveset. Yeah, Lu Bu is going to be pretty tough, so I'm a little bit worried about this. We just barely hit him with the edge of our flamethrower there. I just got to watch my health more carefully. Oh, he's doing his annoying AoE attack. That was the bane of my existence in the first game. I should probably try to find some health. The camera didn't... What are you doing, camera? I didn't lock onto him. Okay, that should be good. You guys are finally getting to see some of the alternate outfits that I didn't have a chance to show off in the Let's Play for the first Extella. Man, that AoE attack is a real pain in the ass. And he is just cleaning house with us over here. We actually managed to increase our gauge quite a bit, though, from the amount of damage we took there, which is nice. Maybe we can kill off some of these smaller enemies to get some health back. Looks like our gauge might be full. Not quite. Oh, there we go. There's a yakisoba bread. Okay, let's at least run Noble Phantasm against Lubu. Yay, Lubu got wrecked. I was worried that wasn't going to be enough to do it there at first. Very cute, Tamamo. Oh wow, we did not very good at all. That was, I managed to get 2 of those on my test playthrough earlier. 2 of those side objectives, but I didn't do any right now. Not that I'm especially worried about the bond levels. I mean, the bond levels do factor into gameplay quite a bit because they enable for more slots that you can use to equip passive abilities. Where the hell were you during all of that, Gawain? Like, you didn't do anything. So yeah, I'm sure some conspiracy theorists are pretty uncomfortable about his outfit. Yeah, I thought the same thing about the lip movements when I first saw them. Especially with Charlemagne, I feel like it looks really awkward. But when I saw it on Nero and Tamamo, I kind of warmed up to it a little bit because their faces are just a little bit more expressive. But when you compare it to the cutscenes in the previous game where they were actually like animated and just had the portrait off to the side, I think that might be my preference. Okay, so we have the 4 different options here. So I'm actually going to pick a different option than what I picked in my previous playthrough, so we're gonna, in my test playthrough rather earlier today. So we're gonna go with this one. I have no idea what it is. All I know is that it's gonna make the next chapter a different chapter from what I'm already going up against right now. Man, the extra art style is normally flattering to everybody. I guess I could say it is flattering to Gilles de Rais because he looks hideous, but I think that's the intent. So now you can see directly how the choice we just made correlates to what stage we're moving into next. I wonder about the levels, though. No, the Japanese version did not have any English language option from what I saw. Even as far as the previous game goes, I don't remember an English language option, but I played all the way through the Japanese version, and I bought the English version when it came out. I don't remember there being an option for that. That would be really cool if there was. Maybe I just haven't played around the options enough. So, that would be pretty cool. If there was English text in this game, it would completely defeat the purpose of there being an English version. There's too many archers in one place. Robin Hood looks like he does not want to be here. Alright, let's see who is playable now. I want to play as Archer if I can, show off that mullet. Alright, looks like Archer and Gawain are playable now. Robin Hood is not. He let out a little bit of a smile there when we picked him. Whoops. Again, I wish I could read what these are. These are all of our passive abilities, and I can equip 3 of them right now. I'm hoping that some of these are movement boosts. Oh, I'm sorry, I should equip this here so I can get the boost off of it. Oh, good. This is definitely a code cast that I want. For some reason, even though I had the other code cast equipped, I couldn't actually heal in the previous fight. That is probably something I need to improve on. Yeah, I'm hoping so too. Did I not buy that? Okay. Let's see if Archer has any alternate outfits. Okay, we do have that equipped. We have all his skills equipped. Okay, so any alternate outfit for him is currently locked, so we're stuck with the mullet man. The tops of his wrists there, the white parts appear to be glowing, which is a nice touch, I guess. Let's talk to Nero. Did I hear a cuckoo lane in that? Oh my god, Tamamo, what are you doing? I just realized she has a flannel skirt on. And what appears to be a hoodie that's tied around her waist. That is amusing. You may have to go back and pick a previous chapter to make good use of Archer, because he's only level 1, and this is going to be a level 8 fight, so I may not want to do that right now. Alright, we've gone for over an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. If you guys want to see more awesome Fate content, make sure to go check out the channel. I just uploaded the unboxing of the Ataraxia Vita Limited Edition, which is nice. And then, for those of you that haven't seen Part 1 or the unboxing of the Collector's Edition of Extella Link, I have that up on the channel as well, so make sure to go check that out. And I'll see you guys next time.